What? What? We're on? We're back. Oh, hi. We're back.
Yeah, Carper, yeah.
That was Bad Man. Now, did you call it Bad Man because it was bad, man?
No, it was actually the '80s, not the '60s.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought we were in the '20s. Come on.
Well, it's not any sort of chronological order. No, actually, it was a character study. It was
Of Andre, of Randy.
Well, it's an everyman story.
Oh, okay.
It's just a story of a guy that just does what needs to be done, and a lot of times we try to put labels on things, and that's not always the best thing to do.
That's probably true, yeah.
Whether they're just everyday guys or famous people like you, Dick.
Ooh.
You, Dick. But seriously, folks, I tell you.
Yeah, you're right. We need an orchestra on this show. We should have a band. And then when we have these little pauses, when we stop thinking of what to say, we can throw pencils in the air, and I can just send it off to the band.
You know of any bands?
No.
No. That's a tough one. It's hard to find a good band, or it's good to find a hard band or something. Maybe we shouldn't go there either. Okay, you produce all your own stuff, and you do it at West Street Digital. Now,
Yeah, that's because it's the best place in the universe. That's why we chose West Street Digital.
Now, come on, you started West Street Digital so that you could produce your own stuff.
We started it to be the best place in the universe.
That's it, yeah.
We're lucky to have succeeded. Now,
Well, it's an interesting story here because, of course, today, anybody with $500 in a closet can have a recording studio. Yeah. But you guys started with digital recording back in the days when telephone service was 2 tin cans and a string.
Yeah.
He's really trying to date us here, isn't he?
Yeah.
You gotta remember,
we
the
don't
band's
date.
been together for 20 years, but we started the band when we were 4.
That's right.
So
That's
let's
right.
keep this in
Okay.
perspective here. That's why,
God, you guys are only 30 years. You look terrible.
Yeah. Well, it's all that hard living, and you know what they say about rock and roll bands.
That's right. That's right. Okay, West Street Digital.
Yes, sir.
Have I gotten the name
actually,
in often enough?
Yeah, well, it started as sort of our playground, and it sort of, we realized that, gosh, if we want to have more toys and do more things, we gotta sort of expand out and diversify. And that was the key. It was being able to diversify and start bringing in other projects. Mm-hmm. It helps pay the bills, and also it's a creative outlet as well. It gives you a chance to keeps any given day I might have a jazz mandolin in. Another day I'll have a guy playing a doumbek, or
What's a doumbek? We don't know. Never mind. We don't know that.
It's an African drum.
Okay.
And some days you'll have bands like us. Sometimes we'll be in there.
Whoa.
Whoa. Yeah.
Hey, you guys have been in there recently, though. You've got a...
Yeah, I was in there till about 5 this morning.
And you're going back in about half an hour.
Yes, I am. Hey, that's an interesting story right there. We'll
Tell us.
segue into that, Dick.
Okay.
Actually, I've got Brian Greenway from Maple Wine coming in today to do some session work on another project.
Now, let's introduce Brian, because there are some folks here who may not know him or may not remember him and may not know that April Wine played at Floodstock.
That's true, Dick.
I agree.
Why, yes.
Tell us a little about
Indubitably.
April Wine. April Wine's been together since, the mid-'70s?
Actually, before that.
They were
longer than you guys.
huge
Yeah.
in Canada and had a lot of top 10 hits. Probably the most well-known was Just Between You and Me, nice ballad, power ballad. Mm-hmm. And we met, how did we meet up with them in the first, Jerry Mercer, we were playing Quebec City.
Actually, Lévis, just across the
Lévis.
river from Quebec City.
When we were
Hey, you did that very well.
Lévis, 80.
Been here for 15 years, I think.
He came to a show, and we met Jerry. He came back to the place. Back in the days of touring, clubs gave you houses that they actually owned that you lived in for the week or whatever.
Yeah, we need to do that now. It'd be a lot
Couldn't get him
cheaper.
to leave. He just wouldn't leave.
Now, the reason they're telling us this is because when they play, for instance, in Highgate for the Summer Sounds concert, the area that we set aside for them is the grassy spot behind the monument.
Yeah.
And
We can stay there as long as we'd like.
that's right.
So anyway, we met Jerry. Jerry came. You don't mind if I talk to Jerry?
No.
Jerry came to see us, and we became friends. And then we met Brian when we were
So
working
we met Brian when we were working with Aldo.
with Aldo. No,
I think we met Brian first, didn't we?
Yeah, actually we did. We met Brian, then we met.
He wouldn't leave either.
He wouldn't leave either.
He sat in with us on. We were playing on the West Isle, and he wouldn't leave. It was great.
Well, now I have a Jerry story, if I remember this right, from Floodstock. You know, that was so long ago that some of my fried brain cells have forgotten. But who was your drummer at Floodstock?
Scott.
Scott, yeah, it would have been Scott Belisle.
Swanton native Scott Belisle.
Yeah, and Scott's sitting there in front of the crowd, and Jerry's behind the screen because we had a screen set up on the stage, and he's playing right along.
Yeah, they're what's nice about April Wine is that they're really nice people.
Yeah.
I mean, they're good to work with. They're good folk, and it's funny that if we were taping this show 20 years ago, I mean, April
They'd
Wine
be here.
is everybody. But now, you know, as time goes on, you know, people fade away in the business and so forth, but they haven't really faded away. They put out a new album a few years ago. They still tour quite
new one out this year.
Well, now, let's segue back to 8084, because that's a good point. You guys have been in the business now for 20 years, and really, you've never faded away. In fact, in a European sales, you're bigger than ever.
Yeah, we've done extremely well in Europe. It's funny that we with the website and things like that, we have get email from countries that I can't even read the email half the time.
Well, that's because it comes in that funny character set.
Strange stuff. I have to have
usually
that
it's the
decoding
kind that,
filter so I can read it.
8084 squiggle, 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 squiggle.
Right, and usually it says 8084, when you decode it, it offers you ways to enhance your personality, let's say. We get a lot of email like that.
I'll bet you do.
Mine's enhanced, so anyway.
Okay.
So yeah, we do extremely well in Europe. Right now we have the song that you're going to play the video for, which in a little bit, a song called Without You is featured on a compilation album from a European record label. And we're the only American act, I think, that's on the compilation. And it's to aid the victims of 9/11. But we also, our first album we released in 1987, we had a distribution deal with a smaller distribution label over there, and it did extremely well. I mean, we sold, you know, tens of thousands of copies. And
You're never big in your own hometown, Dick. You know.
Yeah.
We got to go to Europe to sell.
I do know that. Yeah.
And so it's been good for us. And then the latest CD we put out, not the one we're working on obviously now, but the CD so far that we released in the year 2000, January 2000, was released only in Europe through these different labels, and that sold very well also. So
cool.
It's funny, we really seem to be focusing on the European market as opposed to the United States market right now because we're not Britney Spears.
Maybe you noticed, maybe you didn't.
Yep, we're not. When we come back, because that's a good time to take a break.
Britney Spears?
Take a break when we come back? That seems silly.
Brittany, come here.
She's out there, but we're gonna. Nah, she's shy. What we're gonna do?
Oh yeah,
is,
she's shy.
She's not that innocent.
She's not. Oh darn it! You know you've burst all my fondest expectations here. We're going to hear that brand new song, Without You, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about actually selling albums and making money.
Are you going to play the video like soon, like
right now?
Well,
Right now?
then we should tell you that it was shot by a fan of 8084 from Southern Vermont at a live show in Bellows Falls. We did a festival with a couple other bands this summer, and when we showed up, when we usually do an outside festival, we expected the stage, you know, a big stage and everything, and we were kind of
It was sort of like playing Highgate, wasn't it?
It was intimate. It was almost
Kind of arts festival.
Had a lean-to type of feel written all over the stage. So it was interesting, but it was quite a crowd.
So it was like playing in Highgate.
Yeah, it's like an arts council kind of affair.
Right.
It's like playing at Dick's house.
Yeah.
Okay.
No trees,
Without You, let's take a look.